Welcome back, everyone, to Tell Me More Stories Told Us podcast, where we choose a topic and really get into it.
I love getting into the nitty-gritty,
Exactly. And today, we have a fascinating one. I was thinking about this earlier.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
So, you know how so many people, especially younger people, I feel, they're like so glued to their phones, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like an extension of their hand, practically.
But it's not just the phones themselves, it's what they're doing on them.
I mean, sure, social media, yeah, that's a huge one.
But even more specific, I'm talking about like those short videos, like, those ones that just keep playing one after another.
You mean like TikTok and Instagram Reels and all that?
Yeah, exactly. Those.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking about, like the psychology of it all. Like, why are we so drawn to these bite-sized pieces of content?
Oh, that's a great question. I think there are a few things at play there.
Like what?
For instance, well, for one, it's the instant gratification aspect. Our brains are wired to love novelty, and these apps deliver that in spades. It's like a constant dopamine hit.
Ah, I see. So like every time a new video starts, it's like a little reward.
Yeah, exactly. And because the videos are so short, you can consume a ton of them in a short amount of time.
So it's like we get hooked on that feeling of like, ooh, what's the next video going to be?
Precisely. And it plays into our increasingly short attention spans, too. In this age of information overload, we're bombarded with stimuli all the time.
So it's like our brains have adapted to prefer these shorter bursts of information.
In a way, yeah. I mean, think about it. Even traditional media is getting shorter. News segments are getting snappier, articles are becoming more scannable.
It's like everything is optimized for quick consumption.
Exactly. And these short-form video apps are like the epitome of that trend.
Makes sense. But,
Yeah.
It's not just about the brevity. I think there's also something to be said for the creativity and the humor that you find on these platforms.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the barrier to entry is so low that anyone can become a creator.
So it's like this democratization of content creation, right?
Yeah, and that leads to this incredible diversity of content. You can find videos on literally any topic imaginable.
It's true. And I think that variety is part of the appeal, too. It's like there's always something new to discover.
And it's not just about discovering new content. It's also about connecting with other people who share your interests.
Yeah, I mean, the comment sections on these videos can be wild.
But they can also be really insightful or funny or heartwarming.
True, true. It's like this whole subculture has sprung up around these apps.
And it's fascinating to see how it's shaping our culture at large.
It's funny. I was reading an article the other day about how some brands are actually using these platforms to recruit new employees.
Wow, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, they're like looking for people who are creative and who understand how to engage with audiences on these platforms.
It makes sense. I mean, these apps are where the young people are.
And they're the ones who are shaping the future of marketing and media.
Absolutely. So if you're not already on these platforms, you might be missing out.
I think you might be right. But, even if you're not actively creating content on these apps.
I think there's still a lot to be learned from just observing how they work.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, for one, they can teach us a lot about how to grab people's attention in a crowded digital landscape.
Ah, so it's like a masterclass in effective communication.
In a way, yeah. I mean, these creators have figured out how to distill their message down to its essence and deliver it in a way that's both entertaining and memorable.
I never thought of it like that. That's actually pretty cool.
And it can be applied to so many different areas of life, whether you're giving a presentation, pitching an idea, or just trying to tell a good story.
I'm totally seeing it now.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about knowing your audience, crafting a compelling narrative, and delivering it in a way that resonates.
Exactly. And these short-form video apps are a great place to learn those skills.
So maybe we should all be spending a little more time on TikTok after all.
You know what? Maybe you're right. But hey, if you're enjoying this deep dive, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss part 2.
That's going to be good. We'll be right back after a quick break.
Can't wait.
All right, we're back. And we're diving deep into, those short videos, those TikToks, those Reels. All
Those are a rabbit hole. I mean, you start watching and then suddenly it's 2 hours later.
That's so true. I've definitely been there. But, it's more than just entertainment, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's a whole psychological and cultural phenomenon happening there.
Like what, for instance?
Well, for one, they tap into this fundamental human desire for connection. We're social creatures. We crave community. And these apps provide that.
Yeah, I see that. Like, you can find your people no matter how niche your interests are.
Precisely. It's like finding your tribe in the digital age.
And because the videos are so short, it's like you get these little glimpses into people's lives.
Yeah. You see their creativity, their humor, their struggles, their triumphs.
And it creates this sense of intimacy even with complete strangers.
Absolutely. It's like you're getting a behind-the-scenes look at their world.
And it's not just about passively watching either.
Mhm.
There's this whole culture of participation.
Right, with the likes and comments and duets and all that.
Yeah, it's like this constant back and forth between creators and viewers.
And it creates this sense of community and belonging.
Like you're part of something bigger than yourself.
Precisely. And I think that's really appealing, especially in a world that can feel increasingly isolating.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
But, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right?
I mean, like any form of social media, there are downsides.
For sure.
Well,
Like, what are some of the things that you worry about?
well, for one, there's the potential for addiction. These apps are designed to keep you scrolling.
Oh, yeah, totally. The algorithms are like super smart,
They know exactly what to show you to keep you engaged,
and it can be hard to break free from that cycle.
especially for younger users who may not have the same self-regulation skills.
That's a good point. And there's also the issue of comparison, right?
Oh, yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in comparing yourself to others.
Like seeing all those perfect lives and perfect bodies
Mhm.
can be really damaging to your self-esteem.
Especially if you're already feeling insecure or vulnerable.
And it's not just about appearances either. It's about achievements and lifestyles and all that.
It's like this constant pressure to measure up.
And it can be exhausting.
Absolutely. So it's important to be mindful of how these apps are affecting your mental health.
And to take breaks when you need them.
Exactly. Put down the phone, go outside, connect with people in real life.
Balance is key, right?
Absolutely. But, even with the downsides.
I still think there's a lot of good that can come from these platforms.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like what, for instance?
Well, for one, they can be a powerful tool for self-expression.
Absolutely. Anyone can create and share their story with the world.
And that can be really empowering, especially for marginalized communities who may not have had a voice before.
Yeah, it's like this democratization of storytelling.
And it can lead to real social change.
Absolutely. We've seen movements start and spread on these platforms.
And they can also be a source of education and inspiration.
Oh, yeah. I've learned so much from watching these videos.
Like about everything from history to science to art.
And it's presented in a way that's engaging and accessible.
It's like edutainment at its finest.
Precisely.
Oh.
So, yeah, I think these short-form video apps are a mixed bag.
Like anything else in life.
Exactly. But they're definitely having a profound impact on our culture.
And it's going to be interesting to see how they continue to evolve.
For sure. I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible with these platforms.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Me too.
Yeah.
But hey, we've been talking for a while now.
And we've got even more to discuss.
Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll wrap up our deep dive into the world of short-form videos.
Okay, so we're back. And we've been talking about like TikTok and Reels and all those short videos.
It's a whole world out there. I swear, every time I open one of those apps, I find something new.
Me too.
Mm.
It's like a never-ending stream of content. But, it makes you think.
About what? Like, what's the deeper meaning of it all?
Yeah, kinda. Like,
Yeah.
what does it say about us as a society that we're so obsessed with these bite-sized pieces of entertainment?
That's a good question. I think it reflects our increasingly fast-paced world. Everything is
Yeah.
moving so quickly.
And we're constantly bombarded with information.
Exactly. So it makes sense that we'd gravitate towards these shorter, more digestible forms of content.
It's like our attention spans have shrunk or something.
Well, there's some truth to that. I mean, studies have shown that our attention spans are getting shorter.
Really? Wow. I guess
Yeah.
it's not just a feeling then.
Yeah, it's a real
Mhm.
phenomenon. But I think it's also about more than just our attention spans.
Like, what else is going on?
Well, I think it also has to do with the way we consume information now. We're used to having everything at our fingertips.
Instant access to anything we want.
Exactly. And these short-form video apps perfectly cater to that desire.
Like, you can find a video on literally any topic imaginable.
And it's all just a swipe away.
So it's like this instant gratification thing.
Precisely. We get a little dopamine hit every time we watch a new video.
And that keeps us coming back for more.
Exactly. But it's not all bad.
What do you mean? Like, are there some positives to all
Oh,
this?
absolutely. For one thing, I think these platforms have democratized content creation.
Like, anyone with a phone can become a filmmaker.
Yeah, and that's led to this incredible explosion of creativity.
You see videos from people all over the world from all walks of life.
And it's given a voice to people who might not have had one before.
Like marginalized communities or people with unique perspectives.
Exactly. It's like this global tapestry of stories and experiences.
And I think that's really beautiful.
Me too. It's like a window into the human experience.
And it can be really inspiring too.
You see people overcoming challenges, pursuing their passions, expressing themselves in unique ways.
And it makes you realize that anything is possible.
Absolutely. It's like a reminder that we all have something special to offer.
I think that's a really important message, especially for young people.
I agree. In a world that can often feel very limiting,
These platforms show them that there are no boundaries,
that they can be whoever they want to be.
and they can create whatever they want to create.
Exactly. And I think that's really empowering.
So yeah, I think these short-form video apps are a mixed bag,
There are definitely some downsides.
but there's also a lot of good that can come from them,
It's all about finding a balance.
and using them in a way that's healthy and productive.
Exactly. Well, I think that just about wraps up our deep dive into the world of short form videos.
It's been a fascinating conversation.
Thanks for joining us.
And be sure to tune in next time for another episode of Tell Me More Stories Told as Podcast.